hear that.
Made up movies, made up movies.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Made up movies, made up movies. Yeah, 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 yeah. Made up movies. Movies in your face now. Come and get an earful. Made up movies, made up movies.
Hello and welcome to Made Up Movies. My name is Mike Kohler. With me, as always, is the bottom half of my horse costume, Matt Shore.
Wait, the bottom half?
Or the top half. It doesn't matter. We'll figure it out later.
But
The
a horse
point
isn't
is,
divided into bottom and
well,
top. It's divided into back and front.
if we have a horse
You're
costume,
saying I'm just the legs and the genitals of the horse?
I'm saying if we had to sit down, you would be the bottom half. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All right, let's just start this off. Like you said, I'm Matt Shore, but on Twitter right now, if you follow us on Twitter, or if you don't, please follow us at Made Up Movies Pod. I want to hear some responses as to whether a horse has a top half and a bottom half, or a back and a front half. I want to know
Same thing,
that.
baby. Same
it's not
thing.
the same. Top and bottom isn't the same as back and front.
If you set a horse on its bottom, is it top or bottom? It's not front or back at that point. Talking about a horse
Is
sitting
the
down.
horse a power bottom? That's what I want to know.
Welcome to Made Up Movies. I'm Mike Kohler. This is my power bottom, Matt Shore. That doesn't sound right. That doesn't seem right.
This doesn't sound right. Yeah, this is
All
Made Up
right.
Movies. Welcome. Hello.
Hello.
all.
If you have listened before, what we do is we review movies you might not have heard of because they don't exist in your dimension,
Right.
but because of the scientific
Beep, bop, boop.
those ones, the scientific goggles, we can watch movies that you suggest and then review them pretty much instantly. It's pretty cool technology that we have.
Yeah. You guys can submit whatever fake movie idea comes to your head, and through the power of our interdimensional goggle thingies, we basically can watch those movies immediately.
Immediately, yeah. It's like
Just
the
like
Matrix. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And
So go on our Twitter. If you got an idea for a fake movie for us, you can submit it right now. We'll put it on our list. We don't have our magic bingo spinner.
yeah. Have we gotten any money for that yet?
No, we
or-
haven't got any money yet. Everyone is real stingy. They say, you got to put out something real funny before we pay up. So today we're going to bring it, man. We're going to really bring the sauce today.
Because I feel like that bingo spinner would have added a lot to this intro.
Well,
right?
we'll just add in the sound effect now of us picking out this movie, right? So here we
okay,
go.
yeah.
All right, let's
so
pick.
here
It's
is,
going to be something real random. Okay, wait, quick. I gotta. Let's just say I already wrote all the numbers and all the balls. And
Yeah,
here
this
we
is
go.
number-
And
wow.
Oh,
Ooh.
there it is. There
Cool.
it comes out, and it is. Oh wow! It has the full title of the movie on it right there.
All right,
See
let's
that?
take a look here. It says Benny and the Jets.
Ooh,
A
Benny and
young
the Jets.
boy becomes starting quarterback for the New York Jets after a psychic swaps their bodies. And that
That's,
does a suggestion by Death by DVD. So
Yes, thank you, Death by DVD, for your
it's
suggestion.
going to, so I guess we should watch it. We should watch it now. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
right. Let me just push this bingo
Push-
setup off the desk. That's good.
And it crashed onto the ground. That's a
It
loud
crashed on
crash.
the ground. And now we're going to put on our magic goggles. If
Yep,
this is your
here we
first
are.
episode, it's not all sound effects like this. So
It's
don't
not
get
all
too
sound
upset with
effects.
us. This
and
is
it's-
just something we've done to screw ourselves over in the editing booth by adding as many sound effects as possible.
And it's not even sound effects because these things are real and we're using them.
Yes,
so
yes.
it's like,
Everything we say is real. It all takes place. Blah blah blah. You get the drill. All right. I'm putting on my helmet to watch my. It's a helmet or goggles. I picture it like Anakin Skywalker's pod racing helmet with the.
oh, that's
goggles.
interesting because I picture it like just like swimming goggles. So I guess but maybe
Well, I don't
there's
know
two
why
different
you would have
kinds.
to picture anything because it's real.
Oh, right. But I mean, when if I was going to imagine it, I'm really ruining the
UCB's
imagination.
calling.
Oh, boy.
All right, I'm turning mine on. Flick.
Huh.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, we
Okay,
watched the
okay.
movie. That was
That
quite
was-
quite the film.
Benny and the Jets.
So
That's the
before
movie.
we get into our review of Benny and the Jets, I just want to say real quick, I had an altercation with someone on
jeez.
Twitter earlier, and I do want to say that if we do a bad job with your made-up movie, please do not threaten to kill us on the Twitter. We don't know you well enough to know whether your threats are come from a good place, like, oh, I'm going to get you, or I am going to get you. So
Ooh,
just,
which is it?
we
like
don't
the
know.
first one.
You know what? 'Cause
I like
it's
the
all
first one.
Yeah, the first one, it's like, oh,
That seemed
I got a
fun. Seemed
quarter
like a
and it's
joke.
in your ear. And the second one is like, I am in your bushes right now with a knife and
Oof.
you're about to be made into my real world meat cube. So
Whoa.
we don't want that. So try to be chipper. Try to have fun with us. Submit as we want your movies on the show. We want your crazy
I
suggestions.
think it's ridiculous that somebody would think we would do a bad job. I think we've only done great jobs.
Yeah, nothing but good jobs. And most of our fans, most of our fans are really legit. We have some amazing fans out there. Pamela, love you, girl. We got Smash Trivia out there. We have a lot of very wonderful people out there. Pamela, especially, who's been there from the beginning and loves Bunker Brothers, our other show as well. Big supporter. And those people really do make us happy. We love seeing you in the mentions. We love all the positive stuff you get and all your suggestions and stuff like that. And everyone else, you're all welcome. You're all welcome. If you're like, I don't know if it'll be funny enough. It doesn't matter. All of these things are crazy. The ones that get suggested, they're crazy, man. Just throw in like 20 of them and we'll pick the one that randomly comes up in our boggle wheel or whatever crazy sound effect we're doing. It doesn't matter.
It was a bingo wheel. Yeah.
Boggle, bingo, roulette. Just don't threaten to kill us. That's the thing I'm trying to get at. Please, for the love of Jeebus. All right, let's talk Benny, shall we?
Benny and the Jets, and it is. I don't. Could they just not get the rights to the song? Because
they kind of played it a few times. They kept trying to be like they were about to play it, but then like a football would hit the piano. There was definitely a guy they dressed up.
Right, they were threatening to play
John.
it. But they could not. They never did, and I think they could not get the rights to that song.
It's an expensive
pretty
song.
Expensive. It's probably pretty expensive.
This movie looks like it was made for TV in the late 80s. It looked almost the same as The Boy in the Bubble, the John Travolta movie. That's
a deep cut. That's a deep cut.
Yeah,
movie.
I watched that one all the way through. I think it was a Riff Tracks when I watched that one. It is not good. It is like painfully bad. That's saying something given Travolta. I think it's better than Battlefield Earth, but
that's not saying much at all. It's
Battlefield Earth. Have you watched it? It's legitimately hard
I've only
to watch.
heard. I think I tried to watch it one time because it has like such a low rating. And I was like, this has to be,
but it's not
so
even
good, bad, but it's just not fun. It's not even fun.
I don't know if I've done this on the show, but my favorite bad movies are, of course, The Room is up there, Miami Connection, of course, Fateful Findings, anything by Neil Breen
Fateful
is
Findings
really fun.
is up there. Let's not get carried away. Fateful Findings is fun. Some of that is, some of that's hard.
I mean, oh yeah, what was that other one we watched? The other Neil Breen movie?
It was long and it made me uncomfortable. He doesn't wear a shirt.
That's any of them. That's any of his movies. If you don't know Neil Breen, he is an incredible auteur filmmaker. This guy actually exists in our dimension. His name is Neil Breen.
In a bunch of other dimensions, he's been murdered, which is weird, but it makes sense.
Yeah, he's been murdered by the Vegas mob in every other dimension. This is the only
it's the only one he's alive in
where Neil Breen has survived, which makes
crazy.
ours the luckiest.
No, I feel like it's the worst timeline because Neil Breen's still alive making movies.
Maybe you're right. I don't know. There's a lot of evidence nowadays.
Roe v. Wade is overturned. Neil Breen's still alive.
That's just happened in our current timeline. Let's move to the other dimension. Yeah, the sky's green. Yeah, they make movies starring Wedge Antilles. But at least Roe v. Wade, at least the Supreme Court in the other dimension is like not packed by the GOP at their most evil.
Yeah. And they're like trying to like fix climate change at least a little bit. They talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. They built a machine to fix it, but it actually creates more pollution. But at least they're trying.
They tried. They tried though. So I don't know.
Anyway, so Benny and the Jets. It's up there in terms of sort of like Boy in the Bubble and Neil Breen stuff as like a movie that is cornball but enjoyable on some level, I would say. As opposed
it was like a more adult Rookie of the Year. It was sort of felt like. I guess that's just the 80s because everything was like.
Yeah, it's because I think it's just because Benny smokes so many cigarettes in the movie.
He likes being an adult is the thing about Benny.
Yeah, exactly. Well, once he joins because it's like. It's more like if Rookie of the Year was made by the same guys who made Major League, and they just had no problem with, like, because there's a running gag where Benny's just like, they have like a sexy cheerleader and Benny's like ogling her, but Benny's like, I don't know, 11 or 12. Like,
well, it's like that thing in Big where like old Tom Hanks has sex with a lady, and you're like, well, this is kind of weird, but it's also like, you know, he's an old man now, so it's not that weird. Right?
No. I mean, 80s movies never had stuff like that. I mean, except in like Back to the Future.
Big, right? Where his mom tries to bang him for a whole fucking movie.
Or in Star Wars, I guess that was 70s. But yeah, I mean, that was Luke and Leia, one of the original romantic couples in cinema. I mean, yeah, you're right. It's like, you know, this is why the guy who made Powder got into trouble. You know what I mean?
What are you talking about? Powder?
We just got a suggestion from one of our friends who's just said, you should make a movie that's just the sequel to Powder from 1999, the podcast. And Kolar said to me just before we recorded this, I don't think we can do that because the guy who made Powder is like an actual pedophile. And I was like, no,
he made all the Jeepers Creepers movies. Everybody knows he's a pedophile, and nobody cares.
So we looked it up right before this, and apparently, yeah, he's like a legit pedophile. But also, he got arrested and then out of jail, and then made Jeepers Creepers 3. Like, he still found work.
2017. That was not that long ago.
That's fucking crazy. Hey, Mr. Ronan Farrow, you missed one. You missed one of these guys.
Yeah. Rough.
But you know, this is how a guy like that Jeepers Creepers guy basically came to be. This is like you watch all these
You're blaming the 80s? You're blaming the entire
I'm blaming the
decade
general
of the 80s.
vibe of the 80s. You watch like this,
cocaine?
You watch Big, you watch is Big even 80s or is that 90s? It doesn't
Big
matter.
is 80s.
You watch a bunch of these comedies that are like, hey, maybe incest and pedophilia ain't that bad. And you're just like, okie doke. I'm gonna make Jeepers Creepers and do a lot of other horrible stuff. Equally bad stuff, in my opinion.
Well, Justin Long was in Jeepers Creepers.
Oh boy. That's
Is that where you want to leave it? Let's just leave it there.
I like Justin Long. I mean, I don't think, but I fear for his safety now.
Yeah, Justin not long for this world, am I right?
Oh my god. Justin Long, fantastic on F is for Family, made by friend of the show, Michael Price, who played Paul McCartney, not that Paul McCartney, on our other podcast, Bunker Brothers. Fantastic as Kevin on F is for Family. Fantastic in Tusk as a walrus.
Yeah, that's a good movie. Tusk is a good movie.
Let's get back on track. We'll probably have to cut all this.
Back to the cocaine 80s.
So anyway, let's get back to Benny and the Jets. So basically, this is your classic body swap movie.
It's Freaky Friday football time.
Yeah, but it's like there's sort of like a magic gypsy spell all Big. So I think Big really is a good point of comparison here.
Yeah.
But the football player goes into the child's body and the child goes into the football player's body. So you've got this like adult football player's mind in the body of this kid. And so the kid starts smoking cigarettes.
He's trying to get looks at ladies. He's like, hey, I'm a football star.
Yeah, and the lady's like, sure you are, shrimp. And she like pushes his hat down and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, heck.
Oh, heck. He did. He said, oh, heck. Oh, heck.
But the football player, see, like the kid's name is Benny, right? So Benny's brain, his consciousness gets put in the adult football guy, Rocco's body. Right. And so Benny's in Rocco's body, Rocco's in Benny's body. So Rocco, this big, dumb, hulking football guy, is in this little kid's body, and Benny's in Rocco's big football man body. I don't think I could explain this any more than I already am.
Well, you explain it fine. I feel the difference is, from most movies, is like, Benny doesn't want to get it back in his little shrimpy body. He wants to stay a football star, which is, I think, a very interesting take.
And, of course, Rocco wants back in his own body.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be a stupid kid.
There's a complication because the whole thing gets set up is that they're both at the psychic at the same time. Initially, because Rocco's got the yips, right? He can't play.
Yeah, he hasn't been doing well.
He's like the starting quarterback for the New York Jets, and he hasn't been doing well lately because
they benched him the last 2 games because he hasn't been doing well.
Right. And he wants to get back in the game because a tabloid photographer saw his penis and she thought it looked kind of shrimpy. And so everyone's like, hey, Rocco's got no caco. That's like what everyone's saying in this movie, dude.
Rocco, you ain't got no caco. And it's like some guy driving by. Yeah.
For a movie that seems like it's like an afternoon Francis the Mule, like movie for kids, there's a lot of adult content in it. But it also made me think.
The 80s.
It made me think in a real way about like what I wanted to be as a kid and what I want to be now as an adult. Because I'm not done developing.
What do you What do you want to be? I don't know. Do you want to be a football star? I don't know if there's time.
I want to work in the sewers.
I think you could still do that. I don't think that's a crazy dream to have.
No, I asked them. They said I didn't have the aptitude for it.
Who did you ask?
The sewers guy.
Mr. Splinter? Sensei Splinter? I don't know. Who did you ask?
No, that's only in films. I'm talking about the real sewers guy, the guy who lives down there. I opened up the grate and I yelled down there.
Pennywise the clown? I don't know who you're talking about.
Whoever's down there. I said, hey, can I come down there and do some work? And he said, no, we're all having fun down here. You're too dumb. So.
Man, it doesn't sound like that person owns the sewers. It sounds like there's some crazy person doing drugs in the sewers.
Look, whatever's going on down there, I want to be a part of it. I hear him yapping.
I think you can. I think that's like a city job.
No, they said I was too dumb. They said I didn't have the skills.
Right. What I'm saying is that job interview process doesn't make any sense. Like, that's not the normal process.
I put my resume down the grate.
And did he say he looked at it?
Yeah, he said, oh, Northwestern, Mr. Big Shot. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, I didn't realize you had a resume. Maybe he is the sewer king.
You didn't realize I had a resume?
Wow. Well, I didn't realize you sent your resume down there is what I said.
Well, he said he didn't have email because it would get all wet down there, so I had to...
What do you want to do in the sewer? I don't understand. You just want to hang out
turn
down?
some valves. We did this show back in the day called Bunker Brothers, and it made me think, what if I really was like a guy who turned valves?
I think you could. You could get a job on a ship or something. They turn a lot of valves.
Ugh.
What?
I don't want to be some sort of like swarthy seaman. I want to be like...
All right.
I don't know. I want to be grounded. I want to feel my body connected to the... Yeah, undergrounded. That's not... Yeah. Hey, that could be a movie. Write that down. Say one of our idiot followers said it in. Undergrounded. That's good.
No one will know the difference.
I think I've been tempted
your
a few times to submit bad movie ideas and just tell you that some stupid fake podcast sent them. And, oh, this is True Crime Wannabes, and they sent in Boner Town.
That's a real podcast. It's actually very good.
I bet it is. I don't. There's. That's the one thing I've learned from running our account. There's 50 million podcasts, and you'll never run out. It's like the mail. Yeah. It's like Newman's
monologue. It's weird because there's only one good one, and it's ours.
Don't say that. Smash Trivia is literally one.
There's only two
right
good ones, okay, and it's ours and Bunker Brothers.
Oh no! If you're listening to this, yours is the good one. Oh, that reminds me.
You're my favorite one.
Before we got too derailed, I almost got another podcast lady on Twitter mad at us the other day.
Stop talking on Twitter. You're making everybody so mad.
I'm sorry, but it's like our bit. I mean, like, I can't tell. Sometimes my shit goes viral, and sometimes it doesn't. It makes certain guys who love Star Wars very upset.
What'd you do to this lady?
Okay, so this lady was like, she was doing like a reply all to a podcast thread that was like, submit your latest episode here.
Sure.
And her episode was about like women. Her podcast, I think, is like stories of infidelity, women and stories of infidelity. Like, cool. Like interesting true. I don't know if it's true crime, but it's just like
it can be, but not all the time.
Right. Wait, do you listen to this show?
No, I watch this show on ID about stalking, and these stalkers go crazy, and it's really good. But sorry, go on.
I think it's in that vein. Anyway, so she was on our thread, same thread we were a part of. So I got part of the notification, and I was just like bored at work one day, and I saw her. It's like real stories of infidelity, and I decided I would like cosplay or pretend to be like a Christian Karen about it, and I was just like, oh, sinful, in my head. But again, it's all in text, so they can't tell that I'm joking. And so she replies with judgmental.
Oh.
And so I replied, overruled.
That's fun. But again, nobody heard you do that voice.
Right,
so.
exactly. So she DM'd me, and I didn't see it till 6 hours later, and is like, "Are you really upset at me? What's happening here?" I was like, "No, I was just doing a bit. I'm so sorry. I'm sure your show is great." And she's like, "Oh, okay, I get it."
Twitter. See, that's all you need, a simple apology.
Right. So maybe that guy who wanted to stab us actually wants to be our friend. But when he said
you just have one less friend now.
I feel bad. But he did get mad that we didn't take his fanfic suggestions, and that he threatened to release an episode that corrected us. It sounds like a bit when I say it out loud.
Correct us on the movie we watched that we made up.
That we watched in the other dimension.
No, that we watched in real life and didn't make up.
Thank you. Whew, that was close. I almost gave the game away there.
Almost killed the bit.
But yeah, it was like it felt like it was from somebody who didn't understand the basic premise of the show.
I wonder what if he was talking in the tone like you though. I'm gonna kill you guys like that.
Maybe,
talking like
but
that.
like I don't know him that well, and the only other interaction I had was him being like, oh, Rogue Squadron, I've dreamt of this my whole life. I can't wait till it becomes real.
But you're doing that in his voice, and you don't know his voice.
That's a good point.
That's what you think his voice
But
sounds
sometimes the context of the words says it all. I mean, normally when I reply to somebody and I'm like, hey, we're doing your episode, like when I talk to Death by DVD later, I'm hopeful they'll say, oh, cool, when's it coming out, or whatever. And then it will come out, and like most of the people who listen will be like, oh, that was something.
Okay, you didn't really talk.
They didn't really talk about the movie so much. They just went off on their stupid fucking bits the whole time.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's the show. Okay. Cool.
But like,
all right, well.
when I told that guy, he was like, you should have told me. I could have given my input. And I was
that's not the magic of the improv goggles.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think our magic improv goggles that doesn't really make sense.
Can I get a suggestion? It's dildo every time.
It's like if we went to an improv show and we're like, can we get a suggestion? And he just said, okay. And he walked on stage with the script of his fanfic. And he's like, opening crawl. Justice has taken a new form across the galaxy. The remnants of the Empire. And we're like, hold on a second. He's like, hang on.
I've watched enough terrible improv to know that could happen. That could happen for sure.
That could happen. And for most untalented improv performers, unlike us, that would be a godsend. Oh, finally, someone else can take the spotlight, the brunt of the audience's abuse. But
I can
on
go
our
back to
show,
being a dentist and stop this comedy nonsense.
Proctologist Michael Jackson.
Those are all classics. Because it's funny because it's Michael Jackson being a proctologist because you just do his voice.
Anyway, let's get back to Benny. I'm sorry for derailing.
There's a
Death
lot
by
up there.
DVD.
That's what he would sound like.
I just imagined Michael Jackson at the proctologist, and it was pretty funny. You know what? Guys shouting improv suggestions in the audience, you're all right. Comedy. Death by DVD, I apologize in advance if this episode infuriates you. Please don't threaten to stab us. It's just, we don't need
Or if
that.
you do, make sure you do it jokingly. Put put an S,
Yeah.
put a hash / S
would
before
really
you
help
say it.
me? Because apparently I'm tweet blind when it comes to reading tone, and I think most people are. Is if you could put your response in a SpongeBob meme where he's doing that like chicken face and he's like bent over, he's like, oh, I think that, with the up and down text, that would really
imagine
help.
SpongeBob the proctologist. That'd be funny.
Oh, Squidward, is that you again? Oh, hey, Mr. Krabs. Oh, I felt a pinch.
That's a pretty good SpongeBob.
Nah.
All right, I'm over it. Let's get back to
SpongeBob. It's kind of fun to do these voices.
That's not bad. It's not bad.
It has come to my attention that I am small. Hey, Squidward. Man, can I do all of these characters?
Yeah, but do we have the time?
You're jealous. You're just jealous.
I did Michael Jackson. It's fine.
SpongeBob, I need to play my clarinet.
Hey,
This is good
hey,
shit.
it's me, SpongeBob. That's good. Is that good? It wasn't that bad.
Just felt like all the air got sucked out of the room, and I felt like I was dying for a little bit.
Hey, Gary, I wish you could talk, but you're a snail. Let's go to the Krusty Krab where I make the Krabby Patties. Ha ha ha.
Can I do my Leno? Because I feel like we need to win the audience back.
Gee, you could do a good Leno.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I can do Leno. I can't do SpongeBob.
Oh yeah, we can all do Leno. It's great.
Yeah,
it's
it's good.
something happened in the news the other day that that's pretty good.
I don't know. You see this? You hear about this? You hear about this movie, Benny and the Jets?
You heard about the movie Benny and the Jets? It's a lot like a classic car. It breaks down every 15 minutes when it starts to get going.
You're slowly going into Snagglepuss.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit.
Is that good? I can play Snagglepuss.
Yeah, I like Snagglepuss.
He's a gay icon like Oscar Wilde now.
We should get back to this movie that we were talking about.
Yeah. So, basically, Benny the child and Rocco Rocco's in his, like, psychic session, basically, and he's like, come on, you gotta get me my confidence back. Do some of your voodoo magic on me. And the psychic's like, it's not really what I do.
Yeah, let's take this more seriously, please. Yeah.
And Benny's there with his mom. His mom's got some problem I didn't really understand.
It seems like she's sort of addicted to getting ripped off by psychics, or like scammers.
Oh, she's what we call
a sucker. She's a sucker. She's a mark.
Oh, I was gonna say any woman in California.
Right.
But that's
this is before
that's my
Goop,
Leno
though,
monologue
so.
joke for the night.
Yeah. Pretty good.
I'm just saying, if you believe in astrology, I got a bridge in Brooklyn you can tell you, and then I've got to get back to the movie show.
It's Snagglepuss now.
They did the mash. It was a graveyard smash. I can't stop doing impressions.
They
don't make sense.
Turn it off.
I was so gay, and I couldn't tell anybody. That's just The Simpsons.
So you're just going The Simpsons now?
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. But yeah, essentially, Rocco is like, he's like, this is a ripoff. I'm not going to pay. After she says, like, well, it's like, she sort of says something about his mother or something, and I guess that sets him off.
Right. He has she's making some sort of Freudian reference because he's got this, like, dick length. Yeah, he's got, like, he's worried about. It was just
it was just like a Costanza thing, right? Yeah, it was like the Seinfeld thing where he's like, he was in the pool or something.
Right. But it was a Polaroid, and you got the bad snapshot.
Not a good angle. Not a good.
It's at the Jersey Shore, and the wind comes
angle.
in. It's just like we've all been there. But especially us South Americans, if you know what I mean. And as a little.
What? I don't know what you mean.
Only seasoned listeners of the show will know what I mean. I'm not going to explain it. I'll tell you later. I'll remind you later.
All right.
So basically, the psychic is like yelling at Rocco, hey, you forgot to pay. And it's just as the mom and the kid are coming in, and Rocco's storming out. He collides with Benny, and she puts some sort of like curse on them or something.
I guess it sort of happens. It's sort of like a weird instantaneous thing where like she curses him, but I guess her curse was like misfired.
How does this curse work exactly? Because they collide, like they bumped into each other. She's acting like she's the Emperor and Jedi casting a spell with her like with her fingers like that, and they literally do a 70s sitcom like screen flip where the edit spins the screen around.
It was so and then they just change, and he's like, and Benny's in the old man body, and he's like, oh my god, I'm an old man, and Rocco's in the little kid body. He's like, what the hell? I'm not in my body anymore, and it's like And his mom's like, "Shut up, Benny. Come on, let's get our psychic reading."
Right, she's
Like-
an 80s mom. She doesn't have time for his
No,
bullshit.
she doesn't have time. So
'Cause-
old Benny leaves, and then she's stuck there, the psychic, with her now, I guess, adult man child.
Right. And so, well, it gets real confusing for a second, because Rocco in the kid's body, well, I'm sorry, Benny in Rocco's body
Yeah.
is like, "Mom, don't you recognize me?
Yeah,
Mommy, it's me." And she's like,
like-
"Mommy," and she slaps him across the
Right.
face. And she's like, "I've heard lines like that from palookas like you before, big guy."
yeah. I heard about your tiny dick.
Yeah, she knows him.
Nice try,
Tiny
Buster
dick.
Brown. Yeah. It's but again, she didn't see the spinning screen cut, so
Right, she didn't see
doesn't
it
know.
happen. And
Yeah.
so, but then Rocco hears Tiny Dick, and he's in the kid's body, and he's like, "Tiny Dick, I don't have a tiny dick. I don't have a tiny dick. I'll show it right now." And then the kid is trying to whip it out, and the
Yeah.
psychic's like, "All of you out of here. You're ruining my
Yeah.
business."
Stores closed
And so
forever.
Benny's mom drags little Rocco out of the store, puts him in the car, and drives away. And he's screaming, "You've got my body! You've got my body!" And Big Benny is like, "Mom,
He's a
come
big
back."
guy. He's a big guy. The Rocco's body, I guess, he's a giant. He's a pretty big guy. Like he looks like a football player.
Swole.
Yeah.
He's like Peyton Manning size, basically.
I thought he was like a wrestler or something, but I don't think he is. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really have those kind of acting chops to be a wrestler.
Yeah,
he's not exactly mankind. That's all I was saying. It's you know what they say.
Oh,
it's
man, I
cruel
love
to be
mankind.
mankind. So you got to remember that. That's just a little bit of my Jay Leno humor for you. Ooh, Snagglepuss, right?
Thomas Runkin. I've never heard of that guy in my life. He hasn't made any
Oh,
other.
right.
One
Because
other.
he's the guy whose dad owns that canyon, Runkin Canyon.
No, I don't
That's
think
where all
that's
the
it.
LA moms do their whippets in the parking lot. Am I
All right,
right?
stop it, Jay. Stop it. Thomas Runkin is not a wrestler. He's just a giant man that was in this one movie and one episode of Saved by the Bell.
And OD'd on human growth hormone several minutes afterwards.
He played a wrestler in Saved by the Bell. That's weird.
Oh, yeah. He's the guy who kisses Screech behind the bleachers in that one special episode, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. Because he's wearing the mask the whole time, so that's why you don't recognize him. Okay,
right.
cool,
Because
cool,
he's
cool.
dressed like a lady in that episode.
Yeah,
It's complicated. It's a complicated plot.
It
And
was
of course,
fun.
today we would say that's not.
What?
I don't
Say
know.
it's not what?
Is that progressive or not? Hang on. I need to go check my morality on Twitter again.
I think Screech is a little flattered, but then he's a little freaked out. But it's also he's a
Screech
giant
is
guy.
a murderer
so-
in real life too, right? Didn't he like make Jeepers Creepers or some shit like
no,
that?
Screech was a nice guy who's dead now.
I'm pretty sure Dustin Diamond was like in jail for a while and then killed a bunch of people allegedly or something like that, right? Didn't he
I
stab
have
a
to
guy?
look this up. What are you talking? You're just making things up. And not in a
then-
fun way.
Who made it out of that series alive?
Mario Lopez.
Mario Lopez, just like the king.
That's the
speaking-
only one. That's the only one. It's the
Just
only
like-
one alive.
hitting it day after day, doing those. He's like a real life Choma. You know what I mean? Like if Choma really existed, that's what
Yeah.
it would be like.
I see nothing about him murdering anybody.
Okay.
Oh wait, here we go. Sex tape. A sex tape on Celebrity Fit Club. Behind the Bell. He just talks about a sex tape. And he's got
That
a
was the
stunt
funniest
penis.
turn I've ever heard, ever. I don't see anything about him murdering anybody. Oh, here we go.
He didn't kill anybody. He's just
I thought he stabbed
he died of cancer, and now
Really?
you're-
Oh, well, rest
you're
in
hurting.
peace, gentle angel, I guess. I thought for
Thank
sure he
you.
stabbed somebody.
maybe you're thinking of Dusty Rhodes.
Okay, here we
The
go.
actual wrestler.
CNN.com. Saved by the Bell star Dustin Diamond sentenced to 4 months in jail in stabbing.
Who did he stab? You don't know. They could have
Former
deserved
child star Dustin Diamond was sentenced to 4 months in jail Thursday for stabbing a man during a Christmas Day bar fight in Wisconsin.
There you go. It's Wisconsin. That's like classic Wisconsin. It's probably tradition up there.
Brings me back to football. So
right.
in Benny and the Jets, this movie, there are a couple bar scenes in Benny and the Jets, I will say, but it's mostly the most fun one is when Benny in Rocco's body tries beer for the first time, and he takes one sip and he spits it out all over the waitress's face. She gets really upset, and the bouncer throws him on the ground, and then he gets into like, I guess, is this why you thought he was a wrestler? Because of the weird tussling match he gets in with all.
Yeah, it was a long fight, kind of like in. It reminded me of that very long fight from They Live, where they're just fighting in the alley for 15 minutes with Roddy Piper. Do you remember that?
See, the beautiful cinematography reminded me of the very long football scene in The Room.
Oh yeah.
In fact, all of the football in this movie reminds me of The Room because it's shot just as well, and it's
there's long shots and close-up shots and nothing in between, which makes me believe that they also did not have a real stadium. You see the Jets stadium, but any passing is very close up.
Yeah, it looks like they're cutting to somebody did not get the express permission of the NFL, and they took a camcorder and recorded their dad's best hits of the whatever.
It wasn't. It wasn't like Any Given Sunday where they just made up names. They're like, well, it's Benny and the Jets. It's got to be the Jets. But I don't know how much of. I don't know how the legality of that is. So we're just gonna have to film everything without the logo.
I feel like maybe this movie was sponsored by the Jets themselves. They decided they wanted to get... This is if there was, I don't know, a game with a rain delay or something. I don't know if that happens in football.
That's when they filmed the whole movie.
Yeah, they're like, we can't... the team's playing too bad today. Just throw on a movie instead of the game. Cheer people up with the story. Even a kid can play football better than our team.
The kid plays football. But I think it's funny
Jets had a bad time for a while, right?
It's what?
The Jets had a bad time for a while in the NFL. They weren't doing so hot for a little bit.
No, they're not good. But it's funny because so Benny is a nerd at school, and because he's so good at math, for some reason that translates to being good at passing. He's good at angles or something.
He's a lot like a movie you just reminded me of when you said there's close-ups or far-away shots, nothing in between. You remind me of a little bit of a movie called Warriors of Virtue, in which a character sees things as good or evil, or with nothing in between. Yeah. And he's a little bit like our protagonist Ryan in the movie Warriors of Virtue, where even though he has a leg that's damaged, and I won't repeat the word that you often use to refer to people who are less able, Kolar.
Okay.
In private, when we're off recording, Kolar says some things that we might have to cut out of episodes. I mean, you don't have to confirm that.
I just said he was damaged goods. He's damaged goods.
Wow.
What? It's not his fault.
Yeah, well, that's also what you referred to me when I said I was from South America. So thanks a lot.
I said your penis was damaged goods.
Wow. Wow.
It is. I'm sorry. It is.
You know what? I'm going to get the surgery after this, right after this.
To put it back on?
To make it even longer. And not the part you're thinking of.
That's not what I'm thinking of. All right, cool.
So, basically, the first part of this movie is
Well, Benny's a nerd. He gets beat up in school.
Oh, right. Which reminded me of Ryan because he's also the kid on the sidelines. I think that's in football too. Who's he can't play, but he's got the smarts.
Right. He's a coach. He could be a great coach one day. Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, they keep making it sound it's just like in my geometry test. It's this weird.
That's thing. Not. It doesn't make it. That's not. It's not pool. You're not playing pool.
I would almost imagine it's just physics or something with arcs or something.
I guess.
Still, but I
don't. But anyway, he's really good at passing, and he he becomes a starting quarterback again, which is a delight to, I guess, only him. And because Rocco in his body is not like, he's happy, but he's also like, he won't give him his body back.
Right. Well, that's what I was gonna get at, is that like, well, I mean, like, Benny is like, he doesn't have the psychological problem that Rocco was dealing with, because he has the confidence of a kid in what feels like a superhuman
His dick
body.
looks huge to him.
No, because there's that one scene where he's like, why is my dick the same exact size? It's the one thing that ain't grown none.
That's so
shucks.
weird. My dick is still the same size.
Stop saying that to everybody.
I have the same size dick as a kid. He just says it over and
Yeah,
over.
yeah, we know. We've all been in the
We
locker
know.
room with you, Rocco.
We've seen the pictures. We've seen the tabloids. We know.
No, I mean, take a look at this. Jesus. Put it away there, Louis
Take
C.K.
it easy, Kid Dick Rocco.
Very, very prescient movie.
Yeah.
But it starts out with, like... It starts out with, like, Benny winning big by becoming the sports star in Rocco's body. And, you know, like, Rocco is back on the team. He's our starting quarterback is back. And, like, and meanwhile, the real Rocco is stuck in Benny's body at home, like, eating Brussels sprouts and shit.
Yeah.
His mom's, like, shoving down his throat. And
His
giving
mom
him, like,
is
sponge baths
like
and
a
stuff.
little abusive. But it's like the 80s, so it's like funny kind of, but it's also like,
yeah, it's like
kind of,
it's like abusive in the way that all 80s parents were to a certain extent. It's just
like, well, my parents hit me, so I guess that's what you gotta do. That's how you raise your kids.
you with that smart mouth of yours.
Always with your smart mouth. I found those cigarettes you smoked. Now you're gonna smoke them all. It's like, okay, lady, I love smoking cigarettes. Great. Let's fucking do this.
That is a funny scene where she's like, you're gonna smoke the whole pack, and he does. She's like, damn it, that didn't work at all.
He smokes the whole card. That's a very
He's like,
funny
that's
scene.
smooth. You want me to run down the store and get us both another pack? She's like, yeah, sure, whatever. I give up.
Anything to keep my mind off your deadbeat dad.
And get us some scotch too. Yeah, I'm on it.
Way ahead of you, Mom.
But like while he's out, that's when he sneaks out to the stadium during a game, and he runs out, and because he confronts the Benny in his body, and he's like, "You're gonna give me my body back," and the kid refuses because he's like never been happier. He's like no longer a weirdo or an outcast at school or a nerd or whatever, and he's like, but isn't this great? This is what you wanted too. I saw your games. You sucked before this. You know, I'm making you even better. Yeah. But they get to the point where there's a bunch of stuff they realize that, like at press conferences and stuff, that that Benny doesn't know how to navigate because he doesn't know how to handle like deals and endorsements. His goal is just to say yes to everybody, and he eventually makes himself look like a laughing stock by he does some commercial for like Bunny Puffs or some sort of cereal, and he has to wear like a bunny costume, and then everyone's making fun of him, and that's when he's like, oh, I feel like an idiot. I thought the money sounded good, and that's when Rocco in his body is like, he's like, see, you gotta listen to me. I would never have done that shit.
You gotta endorse cool stuff like bubblegum and sports cars.
Yeah, for some reason they both love bubblegum. That's like a point of bonding for them.
Yeah.
So then at that point they decide they're gonna team up. But they, after a while of like working out like together, and they both sort of help each other with their problems. Like Rocco's coaching Benny on how to talk to girls. That's the other thing.
Right. Like, as you forgot to mention, like Rocco is like picking up a lot of ladies at school. I think that's like
in
for
Benny's
Benny.
body.
In Benny's body.
Right.
He's suddenly a very bad boy, which is like irresistible.
Yeah, he's wearing a little leather jacket. He's basically dressed like Bruce Springsteen now.
Yeah. And the bully's like, hey man, cool jacket. nerd. And then he
He
beats
keeps
the
getting
shit
into
out
fights
of him.
at school too, which pisses off
Yeah.
his mom so much. But it makes him look like a real bad boy.
He's just the coolest guy.
He's
He's
just
the,
the coolest
Clint
kid.
Eastwood. He's like Clint Eastwood in as Marty McFly. Marty McFly is Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, which makes sense because he keeps getting mad at all those Asian kids on his lawn. I was like, why
Yeah.
is this plot line?
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
It's like, this is
And then he
your lawn,
sets
this is
that
your
he
mom's
takes his
lawn.
mom's kitchen chair out and he's like, President Obama.
It's
Why?
like, stop. Do you have dementia? What's wrong with you?
Why did my Eastwood sound like Reagan?
Yeah.
Oh no, my impressions are melding again.
They're all becoming Snagglepuss. They're all gonna morph
President
into
Obama.
into Snagglepuss.
Is that what
And that'll
Snagglepuss
be-
sounds like?
That'll be the last thought you have is Snagglepuss as you slowly stroke out.
It's if my life was like an Inception movie, instead of the top spinning at the end, it would be a picture of Snagglepuss and being like, "No, it's just like those LA mothers in Running Canyon."
Yeah.
What
And
the
you just
fuck?
stare at Snagglepuss's face for
See, we promised
eternity.
we'd bring the comedy, and we sort of almost did it.
Impressions are comedy, baby. That's the number one thing in comedy. Impressions, number one. Number two,
That was like
more
the
impressions.
Prestige. If comedy that makes no sense is your thing,
Yeah.
so yeah, they're sort of trading skills, and they become sort of like an unlikely buddy duo, right?
Yeah.
But at some point, they become good enough friends that they're like, okay, I think it's finally time to swap our bodies back. But when they go to the psychic, they get there and the morgue, the county morgue is wheeling the psychic's
Yeah.
body out.
You're like, oh,
We
buttersticks. is
waited
what they
too
say.
long.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, someone we found out that one of their clients or something thought they were a quack, or I don't know what they were a fraud, a huckster, and so they poisoned them.
Yeah. He got murdered. The psychic got murdered.
The psychic got murdered. Another great twist in this kids movie, quote unquote.
Yeah. The psychic was murdered.
And so they go to a strip club to drink away their pain.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, because they're both getting drunk, but I'm not sure which is bad. Is it bad
What do you
that the adult in the kid's body is getting drunk, or that the kid in the adult body is getting drunk? I'm not sure.
I don't think either are bad. They're just two guys, hanging out.
Why
drinking
did
some
the
beers.
Jets sponsor this movie? I don't understand. This is
Yeah.
before they were a family organization, I guess.
It was also like, it was the 80s, so it was like, hey, is that a kid? He's like, nah, he's 18. It's like, oh, okay, carry on.
he's
Drink your
got
beer.
that disease where actually it's too confusing. Yeah, he's a kid. Fuck off.
Yeah,
I'll
he's
beat
a
the
kid.
shit out of you.
Anything for you, Mr. Rocco. He doesn't care. He's a star.
Hey, the stripper's like, hey, is that your kid? Yeah. He can play with my kid. He's right over there.
Yeah, it's very funny.
So they have to figure out, basically the big game is coming up. Oh boy, the big game.
Against the Bears for some reason, which
Yeah.
that's not a rivalry, by the way. That's,
Yeah, for
I think
some
it's because
reason.
like the Bears were like good in the 80s for one season, so that's why they decided
Super
to,
Bowl shuffle? Is that a
Yeah,
thing?
Super Bowl Shuffle. I think that's what it's based on. I just think it's based on the Super Bowl Shuffle.
It was like they could get the licenses or maybe didn't or whatever. They were like, these are the two least litigious teams in the league. Or maybe we have like a friendship.
These motherfuckers sang a song. We're gonna make a movie. That'll show them.
It's all about the crossovers. This is
Yeah.
just like when the Juice got his movie career. Nothing
Yeah,
bad
exactly.
happened in that.
And then he was a famous movie star for the rest of his life, as far as I know.
So anyway, they have to find out how to reverse this curse, but they also have to find a way to win the big game. And
Right.
it sort of culminates with both of those things having to happen at the same time, because for whatever reason, as the crowds get bigger and the pressure builds, then Benny starts to get the yips too.
Yeah.
He starts to realize that like he's having
Oh, my math is lies. The Pythagorean theorem lied to
Well,
me.
he starts to realize that once he goes up against like teams that have that
A better
outmatch
team.
him in certain
Yeah.
ways, he's just like they're just like a little bit better. That like his tricks, like what he brought to the table, doesn't match up. So it's like when you're playing against the Patriots, and it's like you might have great skills, but can you cheat as well as they do?
Right.
It's hard.
You can't. They're
No one
professionals.
because they are the best at cheating.
Yeah.
So
Can you suck as bad as the Browns? No, you can't suck as bad as the
no
Browns.
one can.
No one can.
No one can. The Browns have that market covered.
Could we get a quarterback with 22 sexual assault allegations to be our starting quarterback? Could we do that? Only if you're the Browns. Only if you're the Browns.
Is that true?
Oh, that's very true. It's the Browns.
Really?
Yeah, it's the Browns, baby.
All right.
Cleveland Rocks. Remember Drew Carey? Drew Carey?
Because I need all the dirt. But so basically they see a billboard for a psychic while they're driving to the stadium one day, and they're sort of on a basically the mom finds out at some point, and
she actually believes him because I guess he answers a question that only he would know as Rocco.
it's some like really weird thing. It's like, you've been acting strange lately. You've been acting more like your old man than, and that's like the weird thing that they find out. They never knew who the dad was.
Right.
Because he was the mom was kind of I don't know, a blackout Sally, let's say.
The 70s was a blur to his mom, essentially.
She doesn't remember who his dad was. Well, it turns out
it could have been any number of guys. But if you get my drift.
But it turns out that Rocco is the kid's dad.
Yeah, ironic, I think is the word.
And once the mom figures that out, they have some connection. They she hears her young child. They both realize that, you know, this happened between them. It's a weird moment where a mom and a child realize that they had a sexual moment.
You're the one who got away. They both say like, "Oh, you're the one who got away,"
We were
but
both
I'll never
so
let you
drunk
go.
that night, but we were both dancing to the same song.
And it was weird because, like you said, it's still her kid that she's talking to, but they played it well. Like, I sort of believed it, but it was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, especially because they literally said, and I guess maybe that's the only way it could have gotten sponsored, and why inexplicably the Bears and Jets are the teams in this. Because they said that the song that they fell in love with the night that they made love was the Super Bowl Shuffle. It should be something romantic, but they were doing the Super Bowl Shuffle together, if you know what I mean.
I get what you're saying.
If you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
And that's the only way they could have gotten the licensing for that. I'm going to look it up now, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, you think it'd be like an Elton John song or something, but it's not. It's the Super Bowl Shuffle.
Again, they're at the bar at one point, and there's a guy who's dressed like Elton John, and he gets hit in the face with a football, and he says, "Oh,
play
my
that
nose.
song we love. Give me 1 second. Let me whip it up." Then he gets hit with a football. Yeah.
Elton John. Oh, I've got the IMDb trivia up here now. It says Elton John refused to give his song to this movie because he read the script and it took him a full weekend of drinking to forget it.
Jeez. I mean,
that's pretty rude.
That's crazy. I mean, he drank a lot back then, so that's not
financed by the Bears
out of
and
character.
Financed by the Jets. So they were in joint. That's why they were. So they were trying to have a crossover hit here. I don't think they intended this
That's very strange
to be like a Saturday morning, you know, or a Saturday afternoon crap fest on local TV. I think that they meant for it to be a box office hit. Yeah.
Huh. So they were capitalizing on the Super Bowl Shuffle, but the Jets were trying to take some of that glory? Because the Super Bowl Shuffle is kind of stupid to begin with.
Yeah, I think it's just that they had the song.
Okay. And so that's the crossover. That's the only thing that crosses over, really. And they played the Bears at the end.
Well, I just think that they were trying to go for, like, the symbol of their love was the Super Bowl Shuffle. Because it's such an iconic song, and maybe you should buy a cassette of it right now.
They say those exact words.
Here, we've got a cassette right now. You know these are only $5.99.
Yeah. It's like pretty expensive for a cassette. It's only one song.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, there is some John Madden spoken word tracks on there
On
too.
the B side, the B side's just John Madden
Reading plays slowly
reading
over
Robert
a beat.
Frost.
Run DMC and John Madden present.
2 words. I can't do. I was going to say 2 roads diverge, but I don't know. I can't do a John Madden.
2
impression.
rows diverge. I can't do
That's
it
pretty
either.
good. That was pretty good.
Is
That was
it?
close. Yeah, it was
Close enough.
Snagglepuss, but it was close.
Still Snagglepuss again? So anyway, the whole thing sort of converges on the fact that they need to get the psychic there to reverse the curse right before the big game starts, because Benny's got the yips, and finally, after this experience and recognizing that he has what it takes to be a dad, and he can break the cycle of his own shitty parents that gave him this tiny cock, Rocco realizes he's got the confidence to play again. So they're racing the psychic there, but there's like this stupid bit where the psychic has a drinking problem, and
Yeah,
so
he was like trying to be a drunk guy. It was really stupid.
yeah, it's like really obvious like stage acting that he's drunk.
Yeah, I'm just a psychic. You don't know.
No, that's pretty good.
Thanks. That's my Snagglepuss.
What? I don't know what Snagglepuss sounds like anymore after this.
I would say though that this, like, because so the psychic doesn't work, and so he basically says this is just true love. So to break the curse, Benny, Rocco, and their mom all have to kiss at the same time, which is really uncomfortable for me. I thought that was really
yeah, it
strange.
doesn't make sense. They all have to kiss at a big set. So, but it's like if you imagine filming this movie, the 2 adults have to share a simultaneous kiss with a
With their
child that's
kid.
not their.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, that's some Encanto shit right there, where they're like, I don't know, maybe a hug will save it. I don't know.
And it does, it works, but it's
It
like
works,
it's
yeah.
the screen flips again, but you're like, did 2 adults just kiss a child, and one is a big man who's not related to him, but it's his dad, so it's fine.
So he goes out to win the game, and he comes out, and they're like, "You did it! You won! You won the big game!" And he's like, "No, what I really won is my family."
Yep.
And he embraces them, and then we do like a flash forward to them like 6 months later, where they're like a working class family, and their life just seems really shitty.
Yeah, he stops playing football for some reason.
Yes, he can spend more
It wasn't
time
just
with
the
the
yips.
family.
He wasn't very good anymore. He was just old.
He's
I
just
guess.
working on the car in the yard, and he's just smoking cigarettes. And now the real Betty is back in the body. His body is like bringing a beer and stuff like that. They're just all shouting at each other and slapping each other. And it's like, yeah, I guess. And then it just does a slow pan out, like that's the American family.
And then the Super Bowl shuffle plays again. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Why?
Yeah. It's very strange. Very strange movie. But not the worst movie we've seen, I feel like. I
No,
would give
not
this
the
movie
Not exactly
know.
Rogue
I don't know.
Squadron, but
not
you
Rogue
know.
Rogues. I don't think anybody's going to attempt to murder us over
We don't know.
over it.
We don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, death by DVD. It sounds pretty. When I
I
even
would
read that
give
name, I
this-
was like a little threatened.
I would give this movie. I mean, it's a movie of the week. So I give it. It's a B. It's a B minus.
I would say I would give it 6 Super Bowl rings out of 10.
That's pretty good. It's hard to win those rings. It's hard to win them, especially 6.
It was not a good movie, but it was just fucked up enough to be enjoyable.
It was better than Battlefield Earth because it was like fun bad, I guess.
Yeah, Battlefield Earth is just it's filmed so badly that it is hard to look at, and that's what makes it. Like, there's something fun about movies like that look like this in Miami Connection, where it's like it feels like trashy in a really enjoyable way.
Right. Sometimes you want to see families kiss each other, you know? What do I know? It's the 80s, man.
Steps Football Senpai, what are you doing?
Oh no, I'm trapped inside the football.
I'm trapped inside the bar jukebox, which is playing the Super Bowl Shuffle. And that's how I was conceived. And Benny grew up to be John Madden.
It's true.
So that's the made up movie of the week. If you got an idea for a fake movie that we can watch in the other dimension, submit it to us at Made Up Movies Pod on Twitter. You can also email us to at madeupmovie or madeupmoviespod at gmail.com. And please like and subscribe. And I'm a little scared that guy who tried to stab us is going to leave all sorts of negative reviews. So please give us those 5 stars if you like the show. Leave us a positive rating and review if you like it. Subscribe. Tell your friends. We're trying to grow this thing. Send us a few bucks for that boggle spinner, because that sound effect is expensive.
Yes, it's a $60 sound effect. And it's,
Here, I'll play it again real quick. Just
play it again. Play for the outro. Play it on the
now,
outro.
imagine if that was real. You would be salivating like Pavlov's dog right now.
I see it. I can see it in my mind's eye.
I can see it in my mind's eye. I can see it in my mind's eye. That's actually the psychic's chant from this movie. I'm surprised you remembered that. That's cool. That's a good callback.
I also, just so you know, I gave that guy on Twitter your home address. So,
someone's knocking. Are you serious?
Yeah, I did. I gave it to him earlier because he said, "Do you know Matt's home address?" I said, "Well, that's funny. A fan coming to see Matt. Okay."
How did you get inside? Oh God!
All right, this is Made Up Movies. We'll see you next time. We'll see you maybe.
Wow.